Hey guys, real quick, think about the people in your life. There's always that person who never really calls in sick, shows up even when everyone bails, fixes the mess before everybody even notices there's a problem. Maybe that's you. And here's the thing, nobody's really checking in. Like, hey, are you good? Because you're always good. That's just the deal, right? You're always good. Like, good was an Olympic sport and you have a closet full of gold medals sitting there collecting dust. But nobody tells you the absolute sneaky part, that being reliable doesn't sting right away. That's why it's dangerous. The bill doesn't come due when you're grinding extra hours or picking up slack. It shows up way later, when your body's just done, your patient is shot, and you honestly can't remember the last time you weren't on call for somebody. By then, everybody around you is like, whoa, what happened? But you felt it creeping in for years. That feeling of being the overwhelmed person, always juggling a giant tangle mess. But let's get real about what actually happens when you're the dependable one. The world doesn't go, whoa, thanks, here's some rest. Nope. It actually goes, cool, you handled that? Here's more. And then you pull it off. So they dump extra on you. You don't whine, so they figure you're fine. You keep showing up. The expectations just keep climbing. And slowly, without you ever deciding that it happened, being reliable stops being a choice and it becomes who you are. And that's not a hat you put on anymore, it's your whole identity. That's when it gets scary. So I have a quick question. And you don't have to say it out loud, just think about it. When was the last time something actually fell through because you didn't jump in? When was the last time somebody else had to feel the heat because you didn't block it up for them? If you're drawing a blank, that's not proof that you're super strong. It's proof that you trained everybody else, including yourself, to expect you're always the one carrying the load. It's like you've become the human version of autocorrect. Everybody assumes you just fixed their mess without asking, and half the time you're like, wait, that's not even a word, but nope, they're already typing. I remember back during COVID, I was working in the ER and working late shift, and I would stay, a lot of times I would stay super late, like super late after my shift because it was super busy and we were short staffed like everybody else. And one day I was asked to stay late because the patient that I had was doing really bad and they needed help. Of course, that person ended up dying about an hour after I was supposed to get off. And then I stayed like a whole lot more because people were there. Or the times it was like an ambulance drop off, like 2 minutes before shift ends. And at first I was asked, but then it became the normal. And it was just something I did. And when I stopped doing it, everyone was like, whoa, what's wrong with you? At the beginning, man, it feels good, right? It feels awesome. People count on you. It gives you purpose, direction, a reason to push through when you're right. The responsibility can straight up feel like meaning. And that's not bad and it's not wrong. The problem is there's a huge difference between responsibility you choose and the stuff that just lands on you because everybody knows you won't say no. There's carrying your share, and then there's carrying everybody else's share just because you're capable. But the reliable person, we never really learned how to spot that line because being needed feels a lot safer than stopping and asking, wait, what do I actually need right now? Being needed feels great until you realize your purpose is basically being the group's unpaid emotional support golden retriever. You're fetching everybody's problem while wagging your tail while your own battery is at 3%. And I think that's where this starts turning sideways, right? You don't explode. You don't quit. You don't make a big scene. You start feeling off, irritable for no reason, tired even after sleeping, kind of numb. You catch yourself daydreaming about vanishing, just like leaving. Starting fresh, somewhere where nobody knows you, nobody expects anything, somewhere where you could be a total blank slate. But then the guilt hits hard, because you're supposed to be fine. You've always been fine. But here is what is really going on. You're angry. Not really at them, but at yourself. Deep down, you know you're the one who keeps saying yes when every part of you is screaming no. You start Googling how to fake your own disappearance but still pay rent. Not that I've done that or anything, right? But total no more evening though. This part sucks to hear, but it's true. If you're the reliable one, you didn't just stumble into this spot. You kind of built it. Every time you stepped in instead of stepping back. Every time you fixed something that wasn't really yours to fix. Every time you ate the pressure so nobody else had to. You did it because being needed felt like proof you mattered, but now you're kind of stuck hauling expectations that you were never signed up for, and resenting people for depending on you when you helped create the whole entire system by yourself. That resentment doesn't make you ungrateful. It means you're exhausted from always being the strong person in the room. Congrats, you basically paddled your entire circle. Ring the bell, and boom, reliable you, salivate into action. You're basically a bell-ringing genius at your own expense. And here's a thought though. A lot of us hide behind stoic things. Be strong, endure, control what you can. And don't get me wrong, I love stoicism. That strength really matters. Discipline matters. Showing up matters. But come on, stoicism was never really supposed to white knuckle through burnout, calling it noble. I don't remember reading Epictetus write about being overworked. It's not grinding on empty and telling yourself this is discipline. It's not swallowing resentment, skipping rest, and pretending silence equals strength. Stoicism sounds really badass until you're the one having a breakdown at the grocery store just because the lady asked you if ever you found everything okay. Stoicism isn't about vanishing into duty. It's about protecting what actually matters so you can keep showing up well. If your version of strong means erasing yourself, that's not virtue. That's avoidance wearing a Superman costume. Real strength knows when taking on more is going to break the exact thing you're trying to hold together. Burnout doesn't usually come with fireworks. Most of the time it just creeps in. One day you wake up and realize you don't feel much anymore. You're still productive, you're still getting stuff done, but you're empty, detached, checking boxes. Burnout doesn't come with sirens. It just quietly upgrades you from functional adult to a high-functioning husk who still replies to LOL memes while crying inside. It's not because other people pushed you too hard. It's because you kept pushing long after your body and mind were waving red flags. You didn't know how to stop without feeling like you were letting the whole entire world down. If any of you are still here, listen close. You can be the dependable one without being disposable. You can show up without disappearing. You can be strong without carrying literally everything that people give you. Real reliability has limits. It has boundaries. It has off seasons. It resets. It asks for help when it needs to. Sometimes the most responsible move is letting something stay broken long enough for somebody else to figure out how to fix it. Not every struggle is yours to rescue. I know I talked a lot, but if you felt like something I said punched you in the gut, it's probably because you're that person. You're the reliable one, the carrier, the one who doesn't crack. Because you don't crack, nobody ever asks what's costing you. Here's the thing nobody says out loud though. Your worth isn't measured by how much you can take before you break. Being dependable doesn't mean being disposable. Strength doesn't mean selfish erasure. And responsibility was never supposed to be endless. A lot of the weight you're holding, you picked up because you could. You kept it because nobody else would. And if you don't start setting some of it down, eventually you won't get to choose. Your body will. Your mind will. Life will force the issue. On a past episode, I said, be the rock. Right? Be the rock. Solid. Dependable. Just maybe don't be the rock everyone uses as a doormat while they wipe their shoes on your soul. You've earned the do not disturb sign. Hang it proudly. You can still be steady. You can be solid. You can be the person people count on. Just don't disappear trying to keep everybody else from falling apart. You can be all in without losing yourself along the way. Thanks for sticking with me on this one. If it made you feel things, drop a comment. Tell me which part you felt the most. And if you're carrying too much right now, maybe today is the day you start putting things down. See you in the next one.